It started with silence, thick, heavy, and dangerous. When the new inmate walked through the iron gates, every eye in the prison yard turned. He was calm, quiet, and carried himself differently. His name was Amir. Nobody knew much about him, except that he kept to himself and didn't talk unless spoken to. But one man took notice, the self-proclaimed king of the cell block, Derek, the white gang leader who ruled with fear. Derek didn't like silence. He didn't like confidence either. And when he saw Amir walking with steady eyes and steady hands, something inside him burned. That evening, while everyone lined up for dinner, Derek made his move. He knocked Amir's tray to the ground and laughed, waiting for a reaction. But Amir simply looked at the spilled food, then back at Derek, and said nothing. That silence. It wasn't weakness. It was control. But Derek didn't know that yet. Not yet.by the next morning, the whole block knew, Derek had a new target. His crew started throwing insults, shoving Amir in the halls, waiting for him to break. But Amir remained unshaken. The guards noticed his calm, it was almost unsettling. That night, in the dim glow of the corridor lights, Derek cornered Amir in the laundry room with two of his men. "You think you're tough," he sneered, grabbing Amir's shirt. Still, no reaction. No fear. Just those quiet, watchful eyes. Derek smirked and swung, his fist slicing through the air, but in a blink, Amir stepped aside. No punches, no threats. Just that same quiet stare that made even Derek hesitate. "Walk away," Amir said softly. His voice carried something strange, discipline, not anger. But Derek couldn't stop now. His pride was on the line. And soon, he'd learn the truth behind the men he was trying to break. Rumors began spreading. Some inmates whispered that Amir wasn't ordinary, that he moved like someone who'd been trained, maybe military, maybe worse. Derek laughed at the stories, but deep down, doubt was forming. The next day, he ordered his men to teach Amir a lesson. In the yard, 3 of them surrounded Amir. The crowd gathered, hungry for a show. Derek watched from the fence, smirking. The first man swung. Amir sidestepped effortlessly. The second lunged, Amir twisted his arm and dropped him with one move. It wasn't a fight. It was precision. No wasted energy, no anger, just perfect control. The yard went silent. For the first time, Derek's smirk faded. That's when one of the guards whispered to another, "You don't know. That's Amir Khan, the retired MMA instructor." Derek froze. The name hit like a bullet. He hadn't bullied a victim. He had provoked a fighter. That night, Derek couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the calm in Amir's face, the look of a man who didn't need to prove anything. For the first time in years, Derek felt something he hadn't felt since he was a kid, fear. The next morning, Amir was assigned to clean duty near Derek's cell. Derek stood up, trying to act tough, but his voice cracked when he spoke. "You think you're better than me?" Amir didn't even look up. "I think you can be better than who you are," he said quietly. The word stung more than any punch. Derek's crew snickered, but Amir's calm shook him to his core. How could a man with so much power choose peace? For Derek, that was something he couldn't understand, but soon, he'd start to. Days passed, and something in the block began to change. Amir wasn't just surviving, he was earning respect. He broke up fights, helped younger inmates, and even spoke to guards politely. Derek watched, torn between anger and admiration. One evening, Derek saw Amir teaching a young inmate how to breathe, how to stay calm under pressure, the same discipline that had once made him a champion. Derek stood in the shadows, remembering the boy he used to be, before the gangs, before the hate. That night, Derek sat on his bunk, staring at his hands. They were scarred, shaking. For the first time, he didn't feel powerful. He felt tired. And that's when he realized, Amir wasn't fighting to win. He was fighting to heal. Maybe, just maybe, Derek wanted that too. A week later, the prison hosted an exercise session in the yard. To everyone's surprise, Amir invited Derek to train with him. Laughter broke out. The boss. Training. But Derek stepped forward. He wasn't sure why. Maybe pride. Maybe curiosity. For 30 minutes, Amir taught him basic stances, how to breathe, how to focus. Derek struggled, stumbled, even fell. But Amir didn't mock him. He just said, "Strength isn't in your fists. It's in your control." Those words hit deep. Derek had spent his whole life fighting to dominate. But here was a man who could crush him, and chose to teach him instead. That night, Derek didn't feel like a leader. He felt like a student. And for the first time, he slept peacefully. Months later, Derek wasn't the same man. The gang had dissolved, and the block was calmer. Fights were fewer, voices softer. Amir's quiet strength had changed something in everyone. When Amir's parole came through, Derek stood by the gate. He didn't say much, just extended his hand. "You taught me more in a few weeks than life did in years," Derek said. Amir smiled, shook his hand, and replied, "You taught yourself. I just reminded you how." As the gates closed behind him, Derek looked around the yard. The same place that once felt like a cage now felt like a beginning. He took a deep breath, remembering Amir's words. Control. Peace. Change. For the first time, Derek wasn't afraid to be different.